Hi everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Autism Talk. Tonight I wanted to keep it kind of a little bit simple and keep it just a general topic until I kind of get a bit more feedback of what you want to hear about. And there may be times that I decide to post and it be very spontaneous and something that is in the moment. Kind of like tonight. I wasn't going to do an episode for a few days, and something I read today really sparked my mind and what I wanted to kind of talk about. I am by no means an expert. I'm just a mother of two boys, one who happens to be on the autism spectrum. He is 5, and this is generally just my voice speaking from my own experiences. It is no way the right or wrong way or anything like that. We all have our voice and we use it. I encourage everybody to use their voice for what they feel is passionate to them and what they think, because we are all made entirely different, and that's kind of what today's discussion is about. So I saw this post today and it kind of hit me because it was entirely myself. It was entirely the way I think of motherhood, the way that I think of living a little bit of a different life as far as how we do things as a family. And it was about making your child being independent. They need to be independent, like it's so important, which it is. But it sparked all these thoughts in my mind, which I'm going to share with you. You may agree with me, you may disagree, you may be in the middle, but I'm just going to chat about it. And I'm here in my bathroom because as of right now, this is the quietest place in the house. The kids are asleep, and yeah, I'm going to figure out some place. Once Samuel is out of our bed, I will probably be doing this at my desk, at my office space, but right now, this is real life. This is my bathroom, my kids are in bed, and this is my life. This is just what it is. So bear with me. But back to my thoughts on reading that today. When you become a mother in this day and age, and correct me if it's happened for longer than that, but I became a mother in 2012, and in those moments since 2012, what I'm about to speak of has increased greatly. When I was pregnant, there were all these books and everything else that everybody said to read, sleep training, and the happiest baby, and just all these things. I never read one. I wasn't interested. I'm not one to follow like fads. And I think it's kind of strange to have books on how to like train a baby. The word train kind of freaks me out. And like I said, this is wholeheartedly my opinion. Not right or wrong, not like anything. I'm just talking, folks. So when I had my son, when I had Emmett, he was colic and a very hard newborn, but so tiny and so precious, and I would do it all over again. And I remember distinctly somebody sending me an article that you sleep train. It's like, I forget what program it was or anything, but it was like, sleep train your baby at 21 days old. And as you can tell by the look on my face, my entire thought process went to, he literally was taken out of my womb 21 days ago, and I'm going to train him. And this has now increased. I am now still a mother. I'm a mother of 2 now, in 2018, and the articles are still out. But now it's like, potty train in 12 hours. Like, there's all these things that are just throwing a pressure out. The reason I'm talking about this is because the average mother has all this pressure on her nowadays. Pressure to just, like, everything needs to be rushed. Everything has a time frame. Everything you need to just follow it, and you are the best mother if you do. No. You are the best mother if you are doing what is best for you and for your child together. That is the mother that everyone could be, should be, wants to be. I don't think putting yourself through stress and making your baby, toddler, child stressed because you're trying to beat this time frame is good for any of you. When you're an autism parent, you are on a different timeline. You are on, and it might not be, it may be similar, but speaking from our experience with Emmett, things took time, and they came when they did, but they took time. And there was quite a bit of judgment with that, with some people. But thankfully, I was raised by a mother who was very much like, you do you. It was literally driven into my brain. It was not something that I was raised thinking that I needed to conform, because I've never conformed. I was the girl in I was the girl in elementary who would literally sit in the field writing. I was the girl in junior high who kept to herself completely and was bullied horrifically because I was a little bit different. So, and as I kept going, I've never chosen the mainstream. I'm certainly married, I certainly have kids, I'm a stay-at-home mother, but my own personal being is just me, and I've never really changed for anybody. I've always kind of been myself, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, I'm not your cup of tea, and that's totally okay. But raising Emmett in toddlerhood, you're there and you're with all these parents, and it's not every parent, because I've certainly found my tribe. I have certainly found my, dare I say it, no bullshit parents, where it's like, this is the real, this is the reality, this is how we do it, and it works for us. And those are my people. I don't want to be sent articles on doing everything fast. Well, maybe if you do this, Emmett will do this faster. And maybe if you try this, it will take a shorter amount of time. I'm not going to rush. I'm going to follow my son, and the same goes for Samuel as he gets bigger, and even now. Samuel is upstairs asleep in our bed right now. We took the crib down, and he's in our bed. He literally will not sleep through the night unless he is next to me. I'm totally fine with that right now. It was the same with Emmett. Emmett did the same. He turned 2, all of a sudden, went in his toddler bed, has been in his own room ever since. Never a problem. Doesn't mean it's going to go that way with Sam. Every single child is different. It's kind of the big point here. My point to all of this rambling is that in the parenthood of 2018, and for the last few years, there's already enough pressure in the world and in this realm of parenting and motherhood and even fatherhood and everywhere. The pressure is crazy. And I've literally become the person that kind of shuts down competitive conversations about, well, this is where your kid should be at. I will speak up with that. There's a lot of stuff I won't speak up about because I tend to believe you should be yourself, obviously, and should do what's right for you. But I don't believe that you should dive into decisions because of pressure with your kids. So as an autism parent, we are already in this realm that it's kind of double the pressure. There's time constraints. They're supposed to be doing this and this and this by this time. You read so much of it, you hear so much of it, that you feel like you're just being pushed into this box. I'm here to say that we don't need to live in a box. We can live outside of it. We can follow our child and do what works for them. It took my son 4.5 years to use a utensil. And sometimes he still doesn't use it. Most of the time he eats with his hands. And do you know what I say to that? Let it go. Like Frozen. Let it go. He's eating. And sometimes he goes weeks where he won't eat. So if he's eating tomato soup with his little fingers, scooping it up and shoving it in his mouth, he can do that all he wants because he's eating. And he hasn't eaten, let's say he hasn't eaten that much food in 2 weeks because something threw him off that he can't explain to me. He can't explain to me why he's eating less. He can't explain to me why he eats more some days. And maybe I think someday he will be able to, but we're not there yet. So when somebody says to you to follow these rules, I say tell them to take the rules and go. I say to every parent to make your own pattern. Follow the patterns of your kids. It's kind of like making those patchwork blankets. You can follow a guideline if you wish, but the more that you put your own into it, and the more love you put into it, the more beautiful it will turn out as an original piece. And that's kind of how I see parenthood. You have this patchwork in front of you, and it's amazing, but if you add your own little waves, it usually makes it a lot better. And your kids are always the ones that you should follow. You should learn from them, figure out what works, figure out what doesn't. And sometimes that takes a little longer, and that's okay. That's totally okay for it to be a little longer. So stop rushing. Take this autism journey, or whatever parenthood journey you are on, and just be free of that pressure. Because we already have so much of it. And I read Facebook statuses every day with all the pressure. It's like seeping out of the statuses. And it's so sad to me because I want to reach out and pull that person out and be like, don't conform. Don't fall into the pit of that. Just be you and follow that little boy or little girl to whatever is going to work for them. Because initially that's going, like, making that initiation of following them on their journey is going to make it better for everybody. And if your 5-year-old like mine is sitting eating tomato soup with his hands, but he hasn't eaten in a couple of weeks any real heavy food, just sit there and smile. Get some towels, get some wet face cloths, and just clean him up afterwards and tell him he did a great job. We need more of that. I am not even close to the perfect mother. I screw up a lot. But we move on. Don't sit in the moment and go, God, I screwed up, and sit there and like paint yourself in it. Move on, remember for next time, and learn. Because we're going to be learning until the day that we pass. Life is not going to be on pause for any of us as far as learning. So take care, and I shall see you next time.